Hello and welcome to Sit With Us, episode 39. We have Gary, Kyle, and Shannon. Yeah!
But if you're watching on Spotify or YouTube, you will notice that Shannon's name actually says Kyle Watson as well. So we've got Kyle Watson squared and me.
Yeah. As if one's not bad enough.
Suppose you
What
could get away with
what's
it.
happening, team? Kyle, how are you getting on?
Good mate. Well caffeinated this morning. I got up super early, so it's at peak levels at the moment. So I'm good. How are you? How are you both?
I'm good. I
Shannon?
had pancakes. Yeah.
Fantastic. You're a lucky
Love them,
fuckers.
promise.
I've had one coffee and nothing else, and I'm suffering from second day DOMS after training legs on Wednesday. So it's very eventful in my household at the minute because I can barely fucking move. Thank God we live downstairs. That's
Well,
what I'm saying.
at least you're staying consistent with the training, mate. That's a couple of weeks now.
So that's me. 4 5 sessions since last 4 sessions since last podcast recording. So yeah, mate, it feels good to be back, but oh my God. It feels good mentally, but physically I'm fucked.
Yeah, I get that. You will get, you know yourself, you'll get used to it, but
Aye.
takes a bit of time to build up that work capacity again.
The
Honest to
soreness.
God, my bum cheeks. All from walking lunges as well. I never really went nuts with the weight and stuff like that, but because it has been so long, I think it was about 8 weeks in total that I didn't really do much training. So when I hit it hard this week, I knew I was going to feel it the next day, but I keep forgetting about the second day DOMs, especially when it's legs. So yeah, I'm absolutely fried at the minute, but it's good.
I was just
Glad to
thinking
be
of your
back.
poor legs when you have to go to the bathroom,
Oh, I know, stuck on the toilet.
Did you
calling for help.
did you ever try German volume training where it's the 10 sets of 10 of squats and stuff?
Yeah, I did. Absolutely stupid. Absolutely ridiculous. What the fuck was Arnie thinking?
Yeah, mate. I remember the first time I done it. I was well trained at the time, but I remember like 21 years old doing 10 sets of 10. That's what you need to do. Decided to try and go with my heaviest weight. By the eighth set, I looked like fucking Alibaba's bucking camel. But
Uh,
I genuinely couldn't walk for about a week, and then I was at that point in my PT career that every one of my clients was getting the same stuff that I was. So I was loading like
yeah.
I loaded wee John, who was 55 years old at the time, stuck about 70 kilos on a bar and was like, "You're doing 10 sets of 10 squats." Did not enjoy it.
Unbelievable, man.
How
Yeah.
are you not
Aye.
cancelled?
Aye. For anybody that doesn't know what German volume training is, it is essentially just 10 sets of 10 reps. And it takes fucking ages as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, to be fair, it's effective, but yeah, fuck the Germans for that.
It's effective at hurting you for the next few days for sure.
I program it for you, Kyle.
No, here, Shannon, just got to throw it out there. 83.1 kilos this morning. Have that.
Done!
What you doing, Faye?
I was 90 something. I was 90,
You
91.
were more than you thought. You were like,
Yeah.
oh, like, I'm only in late 80s. And then you were like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. So I had, because when Finn was born, I had so much on in terms of like the marathon and everything else. Like I literally just kept going, kept going, kept going. But then over the next couple of weeks, I had my mum, my dad, my sister over. Then we were over in Glasgow for the, oh, I was going to say 50th, they'd love that. It was the 60th. So there was just a lot of pints involved and there was a lot of loose eating. And I didn't realise that I hadn't tracked for about a month and a half and put on about 7 to 8 kilos. But we're back down. We're back down. Thanks to Shannon.
Excellent.
Goodbye, bod, or dad bod.
Aye. All that baby weight's gone.
Baby weight. To be fair, it's probably the wrong time to do it because the wellies are starting to get colder. And I'm like, I probably should have just kept that wee bit of husk for the winter time.
Aye.
The
Yeah.
amount of people that point that out, they're like, no one tells you about losing weight that you're cold in the winter. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you'd forget about that bit.
Yes. Yes. I was fucking freezing at my foot last year.
Yeah, mate. No, 100%. We had Martin part of the team.
Yeah.
He started and it was 136 kilos or whatever it was. He's lost like 30 kilos at this point, but like he used to bang on about. He's like, "Oh, winter time, Christmas time's my favorite time." I was like, "Mate, that's going to fucking change because you're going to be cold for the time in your life." all of a sudden he's like, he's fucking cold now. He's like, oh, I see what you mean. And I'm like, yeah, it's
It's
shit.
mental.
Great when you're warm at winter, but like when you're cold, it's not great. Like,
Wee bit of extra insulation. Did I speak to you about Ross Edgley again when he done that like
yeah,
52-hour straight swim in a Yukon River in Canada?
yeah, he
He
got
gained
that.
10 kilos of just body fat for insulation. And that just goes to show you how much warmer you are with a wee bit extra body fat on you. Um, there was something else that I was going to say there. Oh, talking about tracking for about a month and a half. I like that whole kind of 8 weeks that I wasn't really training or doing much. I wasn't tracking either, and it's crazy how easy you fall back into almost bad habits and such. Like when you're tracking, you're really on it. You know how much you're bringing in. You know what kind of quality of food and stuff you're bringing in. But when you're not tracking, or when I'm not tracking, like it's as if I'm just constantly smashing the big red fuck it button, and I'm not doing it intentionally. It just happens. Like it's as if it's been really like drilled into my brain for through years and years and years of a poor relationship with myself and a poor relationship with food, that it's just what I revert back to when I stop tracking. So tracking makes a massive difference. And I started tracking again this week, and I'm like, I'm a fucking mess. What the fuck is wrong with me? But yeah, mate, I was only 5 kilos up, so not as bad as you.
I was going to say, mate, that was just a big get up you, wasn't it? Get up you.
Yeah, I'm better than you.
To be fair though, you have had a baby, so
Yeah.
But yeah, I squeezed it out myself.
you squeezed out a baby. Uh, but yeah, team. What else has been happening this week? Anything exciting? How's the running club going, Shannon?
Oh, it's going so well. I'm now a baker as well, on top of all my other trades. It started off as like the first running club meetup. I was like, I'll make some goodies to say thank you to anyone that actually generally shows up to my run club. And now each week I just start baking something. So I'm like,
Excellent.
I'm buzzing with it.
What did you bake
Special one
on?
tomorrow. It's
Oh,
Adam's birthday.
what did you bake last week, and what are you baking tomorrow?
So I made Biscoff protein balls, and they were macro friendly and everything, because
Oh,
sometimes you find that they can be like 200 and something calories. But mine were just under 150 with just under 5 grams of protein.
They were big enough balls
lovely,
for the calories in them as well, to be fair.
and
Yeah,
it's Biscoff is
it was Biscoff. So this week I'll reveal it. I'm making Kinder Bueno ones because Adam loves a wee Kinder Bueno.
I-
lovely stuff. Oh my God, I
He's
wish I
all
was
like
over in
disappointed by Kinder
Dundalk this
Bueno.
weekend.
Gary,
No, I'm fucking loving. Yes,
I don't. Shannon, can you? Is Gary's internet going a wee bit funny on you there for a minute, or is it just me?
He was fine. The two of you kind of just like deflated when I said Kinder Bueno. You still kind of went, eh.
no, I think I froze a wee bit. Well, I don't know if I froze, but you two both completely froze on my screen, but I could hear you.
It sounds no. It's just on you on my screen. You like sound like you're having a stroke, and I was like, "Fuck, Gary, you all right, mate? Do we need to call somebody?" But
Oh no, I'm fine. I'm fine. We're all good. Do you know what it is? I think it's cause the router is in the living room and I'm in the spare bedroom. So I'm going to need to get one of those wee boosters if I want to continue running the podcast for the bedroom floor.
mate, I'm in the same boat. I'm getting kicked out of my own office. Jen's like, "That's Finn's room now." I'm like, "What do you mean that's Finn's room?" And I was like, "What do you mean that's my office?" And she's like, "No, you're gonna have to find somewhere else." I was like, "What?" And she's like, "We'll put you downstairs." And I was like, "Right." So I have to go downstairs. But then our walls are that thick. I'm like, "We've not got internet." So I was like, "It's fine. I've got a booster." And she's like, "No, I threw that out. I gave that a charity shop." And I'm like, "You
A
did?
charity shop.
You did?"
Why in the fuck is she throwing out an internet booster?
Oh, Gary, that is a question. I'll maybe get her on the podcast. We'll ask her.
Who's going into a charity shop and buying a Wi-Fi booster?
I am now.
Oh, yeah. Shit. No, ironically, I am. I'm buying it twice.
But why don't you go back to the charity shop she gave it to and see if it's still there?
Oh, imagine that, me rocking up to a charity shop and going, "Here, by the way, I know that you're selling things for charity and my wife gave you this, but can I have it back for free?"
No, buy it back, you fucking tight ass.
Fuck that. No. I'll just
Business
deal,
expenses.
I'll deal, I'll deal with poverty Wi-Fi. It's fine. We'll deal with that for a wee bit, but I'm getting papped at my own room. It's upsetting. So emotion.
Fantastic. What the fuck? What does Finn need with good Wi-Fi in an office desk?
The questions, I don't know.
The
Uh,
heir to the company.
all I know is
Aye.
like he's living a very fucking like he's living a good life. That's all I'm saying.
Love it. Love it. Would you change it?
No, actually, I wouldn't. I'm going to get emotional here, so we'll move on. I wouldn't change it. But
Can't do emotions this week.
Fantastic.
right,
I,
this week's topic.
I don't think I was going
This
to say I don't think I've ever seen you emotional, to be fair. So I might press you a wee bit later on in the episode. We'll see.
Make him crack.
oh mate,
He's like, oh, you considering that?
do you know what? No, you know
Right, what were you going to say?
we're going to move on to this week's topic. Is what we're going to move on to.
Excellent. What are we talking about?
What got us all into fitness? I think would be a good starting point. Would you agree with that, Troops?
Absolutely.
I would.
Absolutely. Let's crack on. Who's kicking off? Kyle, do you want to kick us off? Since you're feeling all emotional.
No, because Shannon had a post up yesterday as to what got her into it in the first place. So I think that went down pretty well. So Shannon, what actually
Excellent.
got you into fitness in the first place?
What brought me in? Well, it wasn't school to begin with. I fucking hated PE with a passion. Although weirdly enough, enjoyed the beep test. Not many people fucking like that, but I did. It was the only time I'd actually probably show up to PE was for the beep test because I'd be like, I'm gonna smash this out.
We found
So
out
I was face like,
we found out two things about you today, Shannon. Before we started recording, she's never been to IKEA and experienced meatballs, and she also enjoys the bleep test. So, Shannon, you're a fucking weirdo with all the love in the world.
I'm a gimp and I know it. At least I own being a gimp.
So what then kind of made you turn kind of 180 and get yourself into fitness if you fucking hated any sort of physical education at school?
Funny thing is, like, as a child, I was a really active child. Like, I did everything. Like, you name the sport, I was in it. I did karate at one point. I was like, what the fuck am I doing this for? But hey ho, I was doing all of it. Got to secondary school and had absolutely no heat in it. I was just like, nah, way too cool for school. Rather go drink the cans in the field. Fuck this. All games play sports and and all this jazz. Then kind of got to college. And within my first year of college, I lost my mum. So very suddenly lost her, and then within a matter of months, lost the home, lost everything. And I was like, the fuck am I meant to do? Like, and everyone was kind of relying on me to keep everything afloat in the house and that. So I was like, I had no outlet. I was just kind of autopilot, go, go, go. And my auntie actually twigged that I was maybe coping that well, but like I'm not one for feelings, God love me. Although I did a emotional post yesterday, that's about the height of it. If you ask me how I feel, I'd be like, oh, sure, I'm grand, like, and I'll tip on. So she took me to a fitness class and she was kind of like, I think it's going to be the best move for you to try and like channel some emotions with yourself. So took me to a fitness class, fucking hated that to be fair, it was a HIIT class. But the guy that was running the HIIT class, he had his own gym, which actually Kyle then took over when he finished up in that gym. It's funny how the world works as such. And he kind of like reached out to me. He would have been a family friend and that. And he started PTing me for like, I think it was €20 a month or so. It was something ridiculous. He just wanted to help me. So we just started getting me lifting and stuff like that. And that was it. I was like, I can get all my emotions out by smashing weights off the ground. It was fucking brilliant. Terrible form, but brilliant.
So then that kind of led you to wanting to help others in maybe similar
Yeah.
situations to you and kind of pass on what you've learned and show that lifting weights can be absolutely amazing for mental health, for
Your
stress
whole
levels.
everything.
That's good. First of all, I'm sorry to hear that you lost your mum so early on. I did not know that. I
Fun
never actually
fact
seen
about me,
her.
I've not been to IKEA.
I know.
I love beep tests and I lost my mum.
There we go. It's all coming out today. This is just going to be a into Shannon's past episode. Kyle, me and you're not getting a chance.
At least we've
I'm the main
experienced the
character.
meatballs from IKEA, mate. That's all that matters.
100%, 100%. So how are you feeling about things now? Are you much happier that since you did get into fitness and stuff? I'm assuming you are because you're doing very well. You're now under the employment of one Sir Kyle Watson. So
A
it seems like
dictator.
things are going in the right direction for you. Did you ever envisage this would be the path that you chose to take?
Absolutely not. Like, if you had asked me what I was doing in school, fitness was never going to be the one. Like, it was never on the cards. I actually went on to do event management because my whole idea was I love partying, so why don't I just plan parties for a living? And like I was going to work for like festivals, like literally at 18, that's all I want to do. I was like, I'm just going to party all year round. It's going to be brilliant. Very quickly got into the event industry and hated it with a passion. Like it was just intense. It was shit pay, it was shit hours. And I was like, I need out of this. And so then I said, I'll be a corporate girly because, that's safe, secure, pensions. Got into that as well. And I was like, I don't like this either. So what am I meant to fucking do with my life? What's my purpose? And then we kind of discovered that you could actually do your hobby as a full-time career and you're good at it and you're able to help people. So
Aye,
it was all there. I just didn't see it for quite some time.
it's good. What's that saying? Like, if you do something you love, you'll never have to work a day in your
Work
life.
a day. That it doesn't feel like work ever. Like people are like, I don't know how you do it all the time. And I'm like, because it doesn't feel like work. I don't feel like I'm working. I just feel like I'm
100%.
just doing wee bits here and there. Like it doesn't feel like a job.
Sometimes I feel guilty, like receiving a wage every month, and I'm like, I don't feel like I've worked this month. Don't get me wrong, like I'm absolutely shattered at the end of every day, knowing that I have put in a good shift and I'm able to help people and better themselves and stuff like that. But like you said, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like you're doing what you fucking want to do. You're doing what you enjoy doing. And it's definitely half the battle when you find that when the penny drops and you kind of go, shit, this is what I want to do. Because me and you spoke about this in a previous episode as well, Kyle. Like, realistically, no one has a fucking clue what they want to do in school. But the way schools run and the way the education system runs, they're like almost kind of forcing you into doing a job. They really drill it into you. You need to leave school. You need to go get a job. Maybe even get an apprenticeship. Whether you like it or don't, they're forcing you into this kind of line of work. Um, so I'm not surprised it didn't. I'm not surprised it took you a wee while before the
Yeah.
penny dropped because it was like 2025 for me, I think, 24, 25 when I took the PT course. So it took me quite a while as well. But yeah, it's good to see that you're doing well. You're thriving.
Thriving. Mentally unstable, but we're thriving.
It's fine. That's what the weights are for, don't worry.
Well, can I ask a
Right.
question? You touched on being mentally unstable there. Do you reckon that you'd have been in a worse place if you didn't have fitness and what you've done in your life?
Oh, absolutely. Like I was probably going to be a train wreck if my auntie didn't take me to that silly hit class. Like, I mean, it was the silliest hit class I've ever seen in my life. Like, we were doing fucking bear crawls and all this mad shit. And I was looking at her like, the fuck are you bringing me here for? Like, this isn't going to help. And she was like, it was more the fact she took me to the class to talk to Niall afterwards. She was like, I know he's going to help you somehow. Because you don't want to talk. And I was like, yeah, but what's he going to do to get me the talk? But that was it. I didn't have to talk. I just had to lift things and move my body. And I'd come out feeling better. And she said, even herself, she noticed such a change in me because I was like, I'd be on the beer well, I don't drink beer, but on the idea of the beer from probably Thursday to Monday in college because I was like, I don't want to be at home. I don't want to deal with anything. So if I just stay out all the time and I just continue to party all the time, I don't have to face anything when I go home.
Yeah.
So that was my logic. So if I continue doing that, I'd probably be an alcoholic more than likely, or I would have just ended up in pits of depression more so and worse
Yeah.
off.
I was just going to say Thursday to Monday. That's fucking lightweight behaviour. I think me and Kyle are Tuesday to Monday.
Well, I did have to show up for my, like, I was very good in the sense of studying wise. Like, I was very academically, for someone that's dyslexic, I love studying as well. Um, Very strange girl, me. But I did, like, from Thursday to Monday, it was
Yeah.
70Ls as pre-drinks. Like, that's before I went to the club. I was like down in the bottles. I was like, no bother to me. I'm as hard as they come, but
So
I'm
you
not.
are you were essentially just using it almost as an escape
Yeah,
to
and
help you
escapism.
forget.
Yeah, just if I didn't have to go home, I didn't have to face anything. So I
Yeah.
just kept out the whole time.
And it's so easily done as well, especially when you are so young. You don't know how to deal with the stresses that life fucking throws at you, and it's so easy to turn to alcohol and using other forms of escapism rather than maybe facing them head on. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, now that you've found the gym, now that you've found your kind of calling in life,
I feel like a religious person, a calling.
a calling in life, do you feel like it has really helped tackle your, I don't want to say problems because it's no problems, but troubles head on, shall we say?
It has and it hasn't. So I've recently, as of this week, have been signed off the 9 to 5 because although fitness has been my savior, I've also used that to an extent sometimes, maybe as an escapism.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, like, when everything happened, I think, like, at the time, to be fair, the college I went to was phenomenal. The support, everything was amazing. But I kind of just played it off that I didn't need that support at the time. I was like, no, I'm fine. It's grand, whatever. And it's now kind of crippling into my life. So I'm kind of suffering a wee bit of anxiety, overwhelmed, and emotional burnout. But the gym is still going to be my safety spot for it.
Mhm.
But there may be a bit more work. A gym's not going to solve all my problems as
Yeah.
such.
I was going to say anxiety, overwhelming, and burnout. It's welcome to the life of being a coach.
I thought I was low in B12. I went and got bloods done, and they're like, no, you're all clear. I think this is what actually is the problem. I was like, oh, fuck, shit, no.
Kyle, you went all bloody there, but you're back now. Sorry.
Yeah,
I was going to just say fix
I,
your camera, but you're fine.
no, I could hear you. Don't worry. I was bloody by visuals, but not by earshot. I could hear everything that was being said.
Excellent. Excellent. Shannon, thank you very much for sharing that, by the way, because it's not an easy thing to talk about. But
No.
it seems like definitely the gym was that wee path in life that you just needed. Sorry, that wee thing that you needed to just take a better path in life,
Yeah.
make better decisions. And yeah, the gym is like, I mean, being a coach, you're basically a part-time therapist as well.
Oh, gosh, no, he has been my therapist this week.
Welcome.
Got you anything to add?
The only thing that was going through my mind is the fact that when we used to go out like 6 days a week, that I don't know if you remember, but we got stamps for campus that used to stamp you in. Like I had the
Yes.
same stamp that got me in on a Tuesday. I was using that till Thursday because I hadn't washed or
Yep.
showered and just kept going back and using the whatever. And the guy said to me, he's like, "You're using the same stamp from last night." And he's like, "But I appreciate the commitment to the cause." And the woman beside went, "You must be stinking." I went, "Don't care, I'm pissed. Let me in." So
Aye, the college days were pretty fucking wild, eh?
uh,
Kyle, do you want to talk about why you get into fitness?
yeah, like in fairness, I didn't have a sudden death in the family or anything that kind of was a trigger point to me. I just always felt that, like in school, never really felt like I fitted in. Never really was interested or played football. Not until my kind of adult years anyway. And as you know, was shite at it when I did. So I think with that, going through like a kind of Catholic school, in Glasgow, like it's everybody's either Celtic, Rangers, or like there's just a big football element of it. I never really was part of that, and actually a lot of the friends I had in primary school, I kind of felt like had that way in secondary school, everybody's just trying to prove themselves and fit into their own groups and stuff. I was in a group of one, which was me, and I quite enjoyed that group, but at the same time, I didn't always had this energy that I didn't really know what to do with, and then like Jen doesn't believe me when I said this, but I did get bullied at school. Don't ever tell Jen. I hope Finn never gets bullied because if he tells Jen, it's fucking pointless. You may as well open a window and just scream out because it's pointless. But anyway, when that kind of happened, it wasn't anything massively severe if you look at it. Like it was just I was getting a bit of physical abuse and was getting very much every day, just an emotional side of things. And when you're a group of one, it doesn't feel great. So anyway, long story short is I'd started kind of self-harming a wee bit. I've probably never actually said that term there out loud, but anyway, sorry, I've started self-harming a wee bit, and I was just in my head, if I smashed a glass and got a bit of glass and was doing it on the outside of my arm. It wasn't as bad as doing it with a knife and doing it on the inside of the arm. Probably should come a warning that this podcast is coming with self-harm messages. Do we need to put one up there? But
Trigger.
Trigger, aye.
trigger.
We put the
I'm
trigger
the
up
warning
after.
right now.
Don't worry,
We've
we'll
done
have
the
it.
trigger warning after the fact.
Yeah. I was going to say, we've done the trigger one. The tunes are coming next week. Don't worry about it. But I remember I went for a shower with my dad on the way back out from the shower, obviously seen it, and he didn't really know how to respond to it. All the love in the world, I think. He was saying there was something wrong with me or something like that. He just obviously panicked and never expected to see that. And then my mum looked at it, dealt with it, and we had a conversation about what was going on and everything else. And she started taking me to, because I told her about the bullying type thing, she took me to self-defense classes. So it was like mixed martial arts. Started doing that, enjoyed it, felt a sense of purpose, enjoyed the actual training, and I think just the actual aspect of doing something in the evening times. And then I was like, well, who are the people I aspire to at the time? And I looked at like the likes of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Mike Tyson and all of these people and went, what do they have that I don't? And that was muscles, to be honest. They all had muscles. And I think just from a both aesthetic point of view and a training point of view, I was like, well, I need to get some of them. So I got my dad's Yorkie dumbbells or York dumbbells. I had a twos, a threes, and a fives. No fours involved, just straight to the fives. And was doing no sets, no reps. I was just doing them till I couldn't do any more. Shoulder press, bicep curls, doing them. Put the Rocky montage on. Genuinely had the Rocky DVDs and was just putting the montage on, doing sit-ups until I couldn't do any more sit-ups. And I'd done that till I was about 15, 16. As we touched on in school, didn't really have a kind of pathway in school, felt shit at that as well. Being a group of one who feels a bit isolated, and the only thing I had in my life was health and fitness. My mum was very much going, well, you can't leave until you have something else that you're going to do. So I wanted to leave as soon as I could. I left at 16. I went and applied to health and fitness at college. I didn't actually know what health and fitness involved. I just knew it was better than what I was doing. The only thing I could kind of get on board with was PE or drama at school. And to be fair, I never really seen myself as an actor. I'm sure you've seen my Instagram videos, they're not great. So with that, decided to go to college. That's where obviously met Gary. Discovered alcohol as well. And actually, I think for my personality type, that was quite a dangerous thing, in the sense that we touched on a little bit that, like, I enjoyed the sesh, actually probably a little bit too much, because actually the feelings, this is around about the time I started getting into like football. My dad started really getting a relationship. My dad actually started being accepted by some of the people I never got accepted by in school. And the one thing in common was alcohol, football. And I was like, for me, there was a contrasting fitness, alcohol, and trying to balance both of them. But actually, for me, I do enjoy both. And I've fought for about 10 to 15 years at this point of trying to get the balance right as to what is right at this point. Very much I think for me, doing things like Shannon touched on, lifting weights and everything else, for every time that I felt shit at things in life, knowing that at one point I struggled to lift a 40 kilo deadlift and went on to lift 266 kilos. But to do that, I had to get to 60, then 80, then 100, then 110, then 120. And the fact is, you can then lift something you can never lift before. And I think for me, that was an analogy for life. Is like, see those things that seem impossible, the positions that you thought you could never get to, the things that being able to go in and actually get that done. Might not be able to do it. You feel the weight of it at first, but finding a way to be able to do it, whether it be 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, and 8 weeks, fucking 8 years, getting there and knowing there's a pathway to whatever. In my head, the way I look at it is there is a structure and a pathway to wherever you want to be. So for me, that's kind of, I used health and fitness as a vehicle to actually find acceptance in myself. But then I found what that could do for me. And again, even taking a marathon, for example, never run a race in my life, decided that I was going to sign up for a marathon because if I was going to do it, may as well go for a marathon. But understanding that somebody who couldn't run 2K, then going into doing 5K, 10K, 15K, 20K, 25, and eventually 42.2. Shannon's kind of going through that journey at the moment, not saying that she's going to run a marathon, but again, seeing that you can do those things for me. But again, Shannon, you spoke to Shannon a year ago. Like, Shannon would have literally should probably rather shit in her hands and clap than like run a K, whereas right now she's doing it on the regular. And I'm like, what I love is seeing a lot of, like, I've been through those things and how it feels to have that you don't feel that you can do things, but then actually proving to yourself you can. And for me, that has changed my life to the point where I'm like, I can't keep that secret to myself, because there's anybody I ever speak to, I'm like, I love speaking to somebody saying, where are we? And knowing in a couple of months' time, I'm like, we're going to be here and I can help you to get there. So a long story, but that's where we are with things. I think health and fitness has not only just changed my life, but I would genuinely, with the pent up energy, how I felt about myself and the shadow of myself that I would have been if I hadn't got it, that would have, yeah, I would be a very different person than I would be right now. I don't even know what I'd do,
Aye.
to be honest, if I didn't have it.
I think all your experience and stuff as well, especially with kind of what happened to you in school and what happened to you kind of for your younger years as well, is what really drives your passion behind kind of what you do now and why you are so successful in this industry and why you have changed the lives of so many people over the last 10 plus years. So it's good that you've managed to channel it in a very positive way, because listening to kind of what you had gone through, that could have went the complete opposite way, especially through college when we did get introduced to alcohol properly, and that could have really taken over. But you just having that determination and that drive to choose the path that you wanted to choose is testament to you and the person that you are, the person that you have grown up and the person that you've wanted to be. Because I think growing up through all the troubles that you had, you have probably seen through other people the person that you don't want to be and the way that you don't want to act. So you've completely flipped it on his head and you've distanced yourself from that completely and became the person that you wanted to be, and you've stayed true to yourself in the whole process as well. So fucking kudos to you, mate. Absolutely.
100%, mate. I appreciate the kind words, and actually just to kind of back up what you like Shannon said, I don't want it to come across at the moment like I don't still have problems. Sure, I talked about having anxiety a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, and to be honest, at times I still feel, whilst my life is significantly better, that sometimes things are crumbling around me. But the position where I am right now, I would be nowhere near that, or I wouldn't have the coping mechanisms if I hadn't and don't do the things that, again, through a health and fitness perspective. And I'm so glad that we're sitting on a podcast together because of health and fitness and how it's intertwined our journeys, and it has genuinely had a massive impact on all of our lives. So I'm going to pass the talking cushion to Gary, because Gary, it's your turn.
This is therapy.
Mate, how the fuck am I supposed to follow that?
Mate, you can lie. Just make up a few lies. Don't let a lie get in the way of a good story.
Do you know what this is like? This is like being the best man at a wedding, but the father of the bride has got everybody in tears and you need to follow that.
Just be controversial, mate. It works.
I started health and fitness because I want to look good. That's it.
Exactly. Full stop, period.
I wanted
but no,
abs.
like mine's is a bit mine's is not as similar to yours as what I'm going to make it out to be, but it is pretty similar to yours, Kyle. So in school, I was the same. I was bullied, but I was lucky enough to have a group of friends as well that kind of stuck with me through thick and thin. I'm actually, this is going to sound really bizarre. And one of the boys that he never really bullied me, but there was a wee bit of picking on me going on. He's now one of my best pals, which is a strange turn of events. But yeah, we grew up, we became adults, and we actually became really close. But yeah, from a child, I've been the fat kid. I've always had we've set of man boobies, and it wasn't through kind of lack of exercise and stuff, because I was out from 8 in the morning to 8 at night with football. And I would refuse to come in for dinner because I was running a bit mad. I was climbing trees. I was doing the backs. I don't know if you know what that is, Shannon, but in Glasgow, it's essentially where I was living. It was like lots of like tenements, like lots of flats, or even just people's houses as well. And you would just go from one end to the other, just jump in their back gardens without trying to get caught.
See, I'm a country
So
gal. We don't have. I have
yeah, there you
fields,
go. So
just
your
fields
back
around
garden
me.
is your back garden is 9 acres.
I don't
So
own the 9 acres, but I go into it.
Chasing
so
crowds.
yeah, like I was a very active child, but coming into my teenage years when I discovered gaming, and I got my, my first Xbox 360. I actually started with a PlayStation 2, and then on an Xbox 360, I started becoming a wee bit more reclusive, a wee bit more of a hermit. I would go to school or I would go to work, and then I would come back, and that would be me. I would sit gaming till silly o'clock in the morning. I would go to Tesco as well and buy like a 2 litre of the cheap Tesco cola, sit and tan that, cakes, crisps. So I did get a wee bit out of shape. And growing up in school as well, I wanted to actually be a graphic designer. Because I was shit hot at drawing. I'm not even joking. Like, see, when I was in school, I was so good at drawing. I can't even draw a stick man now because it's been that long. Um, but I realized that when I was sitting down in class, like I was getting ants in my pants. I couldn't sit still, and I don't know if it's maybe undiagnosed ADHD or something like that, but I couldn't stop moving, and I realised that I can't stay in one place. So, I ditched the higher graphics, and I actually crash coursed higher PE because I hadn't done PE since like second year. So I crash coursed higher PE, and I was like, right, I want to get involved in some sort of sport. I actually had it in my head that I wanted to work with kids because I thought if I'm able to work with kids, I'm going to be able to act like a kid and I don't need to grow up and I don't need to become an adult. So that was my main goal. That's what I had in my mind when I done PE, and then after PE, I done really well, considering it was a crash hire course, and that's when I decided, right, I'm going to go to college, take this to the next level. And I still had in my mind, I want to work with kids. I think at that time, or at that point in time, there was like Cool Kids going on. I don't know if you remember Cool Kids, Kyle.
I
It had the big,
vaguely remember it, yeah.
had the big like kind of parachute as a logo and stuff like that. And I'm like, see if I could do something like that and just get kids running about and keep them away from sitting up to silly o'clock gaming and getting a wee bit depressed and becoming a hermit, becoming a recluse. I was like, that's what I want to do. But things didn't quite go my way in college, as you know, Kyle. I think I dropped it on my third year, done 2 years of the NQ, got into HNC, and then a lot of problems on my end. Ended up with salmonella, ended up going to India as well for the Commonwealth Games, so I missed like 6 weeks through that. And then I broke my fifth metatarsal in my right foot. So I basically missed half of the program, and it just got too much for me. So I dropped it, and that was it. I became fat again. I went backwards. I became quite reclusive. I was just I was working in a pub, I was working in Foot Locker, just like retail jobs and catering jobs essentially, just to pay the bills. But I was living off like buttons. I was living off pennies a week, so I became again quite in in quite a depressive state. Let myself go. Started getting into lifting weights around about 22, 23-ish. Didn't have a clue what I was doing, but I just wanted to lose a bit of weight. And I thought, you need to go to the gym. You need to do an hour's worth of cardio on the cross trainer or the treadmill. Then you can lift some weights and stuff as well, because weights burns loads of calories. Um, Completely uneducated, but I started to realize that I actually feel really good in the gym. And I was then able to talk a couple of my friends into going to the gym. Do you want to go to the gym today? No, I don't feel like. Come on, you'll feel good afterwards. And then after it, I started to realize how much better they were feeling from me talking them into going to the gym. So I was like, maybe I could start making a career out of helping other people come into the gym. So I looked online and started looking at online PT courses and whatnot. And then one of them phoned me up and hit me with a car salesman pitch, which I bought right into. Do you want to work 4 hours a day? Do you want to work 20 hours a week? Make 20, 30 grand a year? Fucking yes,
Yeah.
yes, I do. Absolutely. So I bought into the PT course, done my 6 week course, passed it with flying colours, absolutely loved it. And then I get thrown into Pure Gym in Paisley. Paisley, Shannon, is a shithole right next to Glasgow. Could you class it as Glasgow? Some people class it as Glasgow, just outside Glasgow, innit?
Just outside Glasgow, yeah.
And then that's when reality hit that, fuck me, this is a lot different to what I thought it was going to be. But yeah, that was my path. Not as exciting as you guys. It was just essentially because I was a fat kid that discovered the gym, realized it made me feel better, and then realized that I could help other people feel better about themselves, because quite similar to your experiences as well, Kyle. See, when you help people go from A to B and you help them through every step of the process, the dopamine hit I get off of that is unmatched. Like, I can't put into words how amazing that makes me feel. And that might be a wee bit of a selfish thing, but knowing that I've been able to help somebody get from that kind of 1.0 to 2.0 version of themselves makes me feel fucking incredible. So that is what's kind of spurred me on. That's what's been the driving force behind me getting to where I currently am. Obviously, I know I gave it up for like 5, 6 years, but it was always at the kind of, it was always just in the back of my mind that I would always get back into it at some point. I just needed a wee break for home life, shall we say, for a few years. But I not as exciting as you guys, but we are here now, and like you say, our paths have crossed because of health and fitness. So delighted with
Common
that.
theme is we love helping people and it changed our lives.
Exactly.
I,
Hi, Rocky.
I would, yeah, Rocky said that. Do you know what?
I know.
He's a bold wee boy, because he was throwing his ball at me the entire time we're on this podcast, and I was like, Rocky, now is not the time. I've had two big calls back to back, and he's just been wrecking my head, wee man. You've been out a big one. But anyway, yeah, no, I think actually on that there's a good book. It was actually one of my clients a couple of years ago that asked me to read it. Not asked me, recommended it, but called The Second Mountain, and it pretty much is like a journey of life, and pretty much it says that, like, if you're fortunate enough to pretty much go through life, the first mountain is doing things for yourself and proving things, whether it be driven through like fear or having to prove things to other people, or doing it for the want of doing it. But ultimately, once you conquer that first mountain, if you're fortunate enough, you'll get to the second mountain, which is actually where you then start to bring other people up that mountain. Like, I actually love the book and love the analogy to it as well. And like, there are certain things in life that can bring us back down to the first mountain, and to, like, again, there can be sudden events and whatever. But I love the thought process behind it. But for me, I'm like, I've done powerlifting competitions, I've ran marathons, I've done high roxes, I've done nothing actually excites me from a personal perspective as much as now, like, the motivation to put 200 and odd kilos in my back, it's not there. Whereas for me, like, seeing clients and people I work with going to powerlifting competitions, seeing them doing well, that brings me far more joy than I did when I had it. And actually, I was speaking to someone about just on the back of the anxiety chat the other week. I did actually get speaking to somebody about it properly, because, as I said, I would ask for help if needed. So I did speak to somebody properly about it, and I was actually talking about some of the things that I feel. And I'm like, I feel when I achieve things myself, it's like I've always done it out of the need to prove to other people rather than want to do things myself. Whereas when I do it with someone else, it's not a proving to other people. It's very much, I want this selfishly for myself, so that I can see them doing well, so that I know that they're increasing value in their life, and I see the joy it brings to, like, Shannon when she done her first powerlifting competition, or like when the guys done the marathon crossing the line and saying how difficult it was, but actually how much they enjoyed the experience and everything. I love that shit. Like, for me, that's what brings me joy, rather than, still need to walk the walk myself, because otherwise nobody's going to buy from a fat, out of shape and lazy PT. But no matter what the salesman says in the 4-hour working week in Paisley. But it's, yeah, and I enjoy that aspect of it, and as do we all, hence the reason we're having the conversation. Like,
Aye, I think one of the biggest kind of things for me that I get immediate satisfaction out of is helping people realize that their self-worth is worth way more than a number on a wee shitty scale that costs a tenner for Amazon. And that's not an easy thing to do, and you guys will both know that as well, because people really get invested in that number on the scales. But me helping people realize that it's so much more than how much you weigh. You're worth so much more than just what that number says is again is completely unmatched. Because it took me a long time, as you know, Kyle, it took me a long time to accept that as well. So just being able to help other people in that situation similar situations to me, poor relationship with food. Food is completely my crutch. It's what I turn to when I'm feeling good. It's what I turn to when I'm feeling bad. Um, and I did get really bogged down with the numbers side of things. So me then passing that knowledge and information on to other people and helping them realize they might still be a wee bit overweight. They might still be, you might have only seen a small change on the scales, but mentally they are in a completely different place to where they were before they started coaching or before they started in the gym or whatever. So that's what I get out of that. I've never done any sort of powerlifting competitions. You okay, Kyle?
I was just
Yeah,
bloody
is
again.
he saying goodbye?
I was trying not to make it distracting. I was just bloody again, so I was trying to unblood myself. Sorry.
Ah, fair, fair. I've not done any powerlifting competitions, so for me it's more about the kind of the emotional and mental side of things that I get such a good kick from. But that doesn't mean to say that I don't get joy in watching people lift heavy ass weights, get stronger. I actually had in the gym. In fact, I think it was a client I was talking about last week, the older lady, and just watching her deadlift like 45, 50 kilo now off the floor. Oh no, it wasn't. It wasn't on the podcast I was talking about. I was talking about it during the week. Sorry, I'm cheating on you with another podcast. I'm no. I'm getting mixed up in my conversations. But yeah, like just watching her be able to lift 45, 50 kilo off the floor, being over 60 like that is fucking amazing. Like it just makes me so happy, and you see the joy in their face as well, thinking, I never thought I'd be able to do this. And then they get the wee buzz for the gym as well, and they want to get stronger. And people can get up and down stairs without stopping. They can get up and down stairs without being out of breath. They can lift their kids up on their shoulders without being sore, without feeling any back pain. That means so much more to me, like being able to help people do that than anything, than absolutely anything. So, aye,
It's worth
uh,
more than the money itself.
100%, 100%. And it's just seeing the smile on people's faces and seeing them start to treat themselves better is incredible. Like so many times, and we've probably all been guilty for this at some point in our lives as well, but we put other people first before us. I was a massive people pleaser for the majority of my life, and it made me fucking miserable. Don't get me wrong, like I'll still go out my way to help people now, which is exactly why I'm in the business that I'm in. But I've now started to learn to say no a lot more as well and put myself first and be selfish, which is then allowing me to be the person I am to help people get themselves better. So yeah, just seeing people treat themselves better, speak to themselves better, look in the mirror and actually tell themselves that they are fucking worth it. That's my biggest. I love it. It's
Yeah.
just can't put any words. I'm stumbling over my words this morning, but it's just literally because I can't find the words to describe how amazing and how happy it makes me.
It just fills your heart, really, doesn't it? Like you just get so warm.
Oh, unbelievably so. Which
Sounds
is
like you are gimps talking about feet.
which is it makes you feel warm, which is always a benefit when you're losing body fat, as we
Yeah,
spoke about.
that's what keeps me warm in the winter.
To be fair, I've got to
Not the
give.
bulking I'm going through.
I think considering I've had the pleasure of coaching both of yous for a period of time, like, and I've known both of yous, like, I can see the people that are sat here today are two very different people than when we first started coaching. Like, Gary, when he first started coaching with us, was just back from Canada, carrying a wee bit extra timber, but actually was a wee bit lost in terms of where they wanted to go with things and doing where they want to be. Like, through the mechanisms, health, fitness direction, like you've got a house, we're happy with where we are, we're not wanting to run away from anything. I think there was an element of you touching on where we're going next and where we're going next. I know there was an element of travel there, but I also think there was an element of where we don't want to be, and I think very much it was we didn't want to be here because he didn't see a future here. And the Gary in front of us right now not only sees a future here, you're like, I actually enjoy where I am, enjoy what I'm doing. And
Yeah.
like you, as much as I think when it comes to like Gary, the biggest, not throwing your dirty underwear here, but I think your biggest issue is always going to be food. The level of a problem it is right now compared to when you first started is massively different, and that shows up in your energy and your body composition and everything else. And then on Shannon's side of things, like as much as Shannon had a bit of previous like coaching experience, like Shannon, when you first met Shannon, at times like you didn't sometimes enjoy being in a social situation, and you were at times you were possibly like
Hiding everywhere.
you know, but you could almost tell that you were dying inside to be there. Whereas I'm like, you're now literally conducting, you have your own clients, you're conducting run clubs, you're going outside and constantly challenging yourself. Like, not just from as much as the body compositional changes are great for you, all that did was prove to you you could do something you didn't think you could do. And it's the same with lifting heavy weights. It's just proving to yourself that you could do something that you didn't know that you could do. Once you have that, like, that's why, like, whilst we all, and again, the important thing is, we are all still have our problems, like, and we've kind of touched on those, but where you are is a byproduct of the confidence you've built by doing hard things and through health and fitness. And I think that has a bleed over to every other aspect of all of our lives, like 100%.
I completely agree. Completely agree. And there was something that I was going to touch on there with regards to kind of me and my journey. You're right in what you say. Like, I was at a point, I mean, we'd just been kind of coming off the back of essentially living away from home for like 4 years. Obviously we had that wee kind of break in between for weddings, etc. But yeah, we'd essentially been living away from home for 4 years, and I think just deep down in my head, I was scared to come back home, in case I fell into, back into bad habits and kind of became that reclusive hermit that I was before I became a PT and stuff like that. Because I knew straight away that I was not in any fit shape to get straight back into the fitness industry. I knew I had lost so much of my knowledge. I had been away from the industry for 6 years in total, I think, and I'm like, yeah, like it's completely out of my grasp now. I'm never ever going to get back into becoming a coach again. So getting myself back and just asking for a wee bit of help from you, Kyle, it made me it rekindled that fire in my belly to be able to kind of, or to want to be able to help people again. So yeah, a lot has to be said for you as well. And you would never I would never be in the position I'm in now if it wasn't for the drive and passion that you had for what you do, if that makes sense.
I'm gonna have to stop.
Absolutely agree with that.
I'm gonna have to
Yes.
stop you both there because I'm not hydrated enough that I can afford to cry right now. So please, yes, come in.
And another thing as well, like I want to point out this out to everybody that's listening too, like all three of us, it's not been plain sailing. It's not been an easy process. It's not been a complete straight line from A to B. Like we all have our own issues mentally, emotionally, physically. We all have our own kind of phases in our life where things don't seem to be going too well. We do get anxious, we do get overwhelmed. That is part of fucking life, right? So see it if you're at a point in your life, in your journey, where you feel like things are getting a wee bit too much. Don't fucking panic because it's life. We're human beings, we experience emotions, we experience feelings. Times are going to get tough, right? See, as long as you can get through the tough times, you're going to be fucking laughing. Don't let them consume you. And to not let them consume you, that might mean you need to reach out and ask for a wee bit of help. You might need to talk to your partner, for example, so whoever you're sharing your house with. Listen, I'm not feeling a wee bit good in my own skin just now. Do you mind if we maybe don't bring crisps into the house because I can't control myself around them? Just wee conversations like that make a massive, massive difference. You are going to experience tough times. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat it, but it's just part of life, unfortunately. As long as you keep putting one foot in front of the other, it doesn't matter how long it takes you. Like you were touching on earlier, Kyle. It might take you 8 weeks, it might take you 8 months, it might take you 8 years. It doesn't fucking matter. As long as you continue to move forward, you're progressing day on day. The tough times they'll become a thing of the past. They'll become much easier to handle in the future as well. But you do need to face up to them when they happen for you to learn how to deal with them next time they happen.
This is such a deep podcast.
I know.
I've
I know
cried
it's
loads this week. I don't need to cry anymore.
anything to add, team?
I don't think, a bit like what you said earlier, I don't think we can follow up on that, mate. I think that's fairly, you've nailed that there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Well,
Proud of the president.
Have you got anything else that you want to touch on? Do you want to lighten the mood a wee bit? Is there anything happening that
I
we can
have run
bring in?
club tomorrow.
Run club tomorrow with the Kinder Bueno.
Kinder Bueno protein
Actually,
balls.
when the podcast is out, you had Run Club yesterday.
Oh yeah, I forget. And
So,
Sunday's my favorite day because the podcast comes out and I'm like, oh, get to listen to this.
so Run Club next Saturday.
Next Saturday, I
Kyle,
wonder what
what
the
are you
next
going to
flavour will be.
I have
what are you going
right.
to say, Kyle?
So we have Finn's christening on Sunday, right? And I Jen's trying to get me to wear a kilt, and I don't,
2 plasters.
Why
What
do
is
you have
this?
plasters?
because I was going to put myself up like Nelly, just have a plaster across my cheek there. But I'm going to actually.
Right, Finn's christening.
I was about to tell you the real reason I have plasters, and I went, that's probably too much for a podcast right now. But let's just
I'll
say
go for it.
I have a very sore, I don't know if it's a spot, chafing, or whatever, at a very curious angle, and I needed to plaster it up. So the thing has been plastered, but I'm also in the position where I didn't shave before plastering, and I'm now going, it's going to come off, and there's going to be sore. So I've got a fear in my life. You asked me to lighten the mood, but I've changed the mood anyway.
It's actually gotten darker now.
Yeah, wait till you see the hair. But anyway, actually, probably still on the same subject. We have Finn's christening on Sunday, and Jen was saying to me she's trying to get me to wear the kilt, and I'm like, I don't really think a christening's like what you wear a kilt to. Like, I'm going to more so ask Gary's opinion on this. What we're thinking about that?
Nah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with Jen. I'm like, go on, Kyle. Sun's out, legs out.
Yeah, the last place is Ireland, and you'll just find it funny, so you can laugh at me. But it's no,
He's in a
no.
dress.
But
That's no, yeah, a christening. No.
right, sound. That's that.
What do you wear a kilt to then? A wedding?
Wedding, yeah, wedding. I wore it to my school prom.
Tuesday evenings. You start
That's cute.
Tuesday evenings on campus.
Gary actually went to school prom himself because he got stood up, but if he felt his kilt, it made it feel like he was dancing with a girl. That's all.
Well, I was going to make a joke about you saying you discovered alcohol in college, and I said you probably kissed your first girl there, but I was like, it's a bit dark, so I better not make the joke.
Go on, Shannon.
Oh,
Make a joke. Go on.
make it a joke.
I did. I said that you probably kissed the first girl in college. It's just you, yourself, and I.
I thought the Irish were supposed to be funny.
I am funny.
Yeah, we're going
My
to.
therapist doesn't think so, but I do.
Gary,
Anyway,
where can they find you?
Who did you ask there, Kyle?
I said, Gary, where can they find you?
Oh, Instagram at gmac_health and fitness. Shannon, where can they find you?
Shan_biofitness.
Kyle_biofitness.
Oh, you're supposed to ask Kyle, Shannon.
Oh shit, yeah. Kyle, where can we find you?
Kyle_biofitness1 on Instagram.
As always, I'll put the direct links to our Instagrams in the description below the podcast episode. Thank you all very much for listening. I hope you didn't shed too many tears. And tune in next week for the big theme tune reveal.
Oh, yes. I'm
Going
going to be so disappointed if it's not fun.
It's going to be a cracker. Right, everybody. See you all next week.
Good night. God bless. See you. Bye.